Hi, I'm General Booty. I'm the quarterback at the University of Oklahoma, and you are now tuned into the greatest podcast on turf. Enjoy.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to this week's first exclusive segment from the greatest podcast on turf. I'm Ryan.
I'm Anthony.
And we got our yearly trade targets at the end.
I think this is the first year we've done this.
Probably. Most trade deadlines in my league seem to be November 18th, and that's not with any adjusted settings. It seems to just be the default, so I got a feeling that's probably like that in many leagues. So Saturday, November 18th, we are currently recording this Monday, the 13th, so this should be out for the last week of trades in your leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Going to give, give or take 5 guys each to buy and 3 or 4 guys each to sell.
Yeah, so to start us off, the first player who I think you should go out and try and buy, coming off a bye week, it's Isaiah Pacheco, running back for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I've been trying to acquire this guy in all the leagues I don't have him in for some time now. I think I tried for about a month to get him in one league and just couldn't make it happen. But if you look at it coming up, he has a very, very generous schedule. He's coming off the bye. He's got Philly, who's pretty decent against the run. But after that, there's a lot of green. Vegas, who's bad against the run. Green Bay, Buffalo, New England, Vegas, Cincy, and the Chargers. Week 18. So I know that looks like a lot of positive game script, a lot of games where it's going to be tight, so they're not going to lean away from the run game too much. Chiefs, they got kind of a tough schedule, positive game script, playing against a lot of bad offensive lines. So if you're in need of a running back or your running backs have been underperforming or have even been injured, go out and make a move for Isaiah Pacheco. Because if you're like me, you have about 8 startable receivers, but 2.5 startable running backs every week. So go ahead. And if you're like me and you need running backs, go get Isaiah Pacheco. Go buy low on him. He's coming off the bye. Been pretty consistent all season. So my price might be a little high, but go out and get him. It will be very much worth it.
First, guys, I'm sending out here. This is kind of a package deal considering they're on the same team. It's Marquise Brown and James Conner of the Arizona Cardinals. It's actually really any Arizona Cardinal, depending on league size. Marquise Brown, James Conner, and Trey McBride are probably the top echelon guys. Trey McBride just popped off of Kyler Murray, so it's going to be a lot harder to trade for him than it will be for Marquise Brown or James Conner. Marquise Brown, the first game of Kyler Murray back, he didn't do much, so I think that's a pretty good sign for buying him low. We know that the Marquise Brown and Kyler Murray connection is there. That's without a doubt. They just didn't happen to connect on this game. And that could be a good thing if you think about it in this way. Kyler Murray missed them in the end zone for a touchdown, and Marquise Brown dropped it. It can go either way. But they barely missed, and he was wide open. And that could have changed his fantasy day completely. And I think that, normally those two kind of guys are going to complete it more times than not. And on the James Conner side, he got the ball 16 times for 73 yards. That's not a good fantasy day if you just look at the stat sheet, and some people do that. But normally, he's going to catch some passes. He might even get a touchdown, especially with Kyler Murray back. Their playoff schedules aren't the best. They have a bye week 14, which is a little sketchy, and then he plays San Fran week 15. Most playoffs start 16, 17, so you got Chicago the first week, which is pretty nice, and then Philly week 17, which is a little rough, but I think I would be buying Hollywood Brown in this scenario.
Yeah, next up, this is a guy who you're buying very low on, especially after the past 3 weeks he's had. It's Tony Pollard of the Dallas Cowboys. Right now, despite the very quiet season and him only scoring 2 touchdowns that both came week 1, he's still the RB22 right now in half PPR point formats. I know it's tough because if you drafted this guy and you're watching this, you're not happy at all. But if you don't have Tony Pollard, buy low on him. The schedule, little touch and go. They got 2 rough games, Detroit week 17 and Philly week 14. But other than that, it's solid. There's some good game script. And even this week, if you're one of those teams, fringe playoffs, or you're fighting for a winner, you're fighting to stay alive, go get him. He's got Carolina this week, very favorable matchup. Washington and Seattle the next 2 weeks, very favorable matchups as well. I know it's tough because, I even got shitted. I say he was on the start him, sit him last week. I know. He's seeing 12 touches in the game. He's seeing about 12, 15 touches a game. He's catching passes. I don't really know what the problem is and why he's just not scoring touchdowns. I don't know if it's just Dallas throwing the ball a lot. But it's starting to draw some attention in the media. I saw a few major outlets talking about it today and how he's been having a bad year and how they're not using him. So, normally you know how it goes. Gets around in the media or the player comes out and says something. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. Tony Pollard will be more involved. It's just Dallas's offense still seems as though they haven't really found a balance yet. But Tony Pollard will be getting more involved. Take it from me. You heard it from here first. He's the RB22 right now, despite a very slow year. Go ahead and get him.
My next buy candidate, it is Puka Nacua of the Rams. Basically, kind of going to keep this short and sweet. The past 4 weeks have been pretty rough, except for the game against Pittsburgh. Murray had 8 receptions, 154 yards. I believe that might have been Cooper Kupp's first game back. Pretty sure it was. And the past 2 weeks, he hasn't done anything at all. The reason being Matt Stafford's banged up. And some people may believe that this is Cooper Kupp's is kind of taking over. However, I don't think that's the case. And the price of Puka is as low as it's going to be right now at this point. They play Seattle this week, and I think he's going to destroy that secondary. I think this is going to be another high-scoring game, but the price of Puka Nacua is as low as it's going to be, and they anticipate Matt Stafford coming back this week. I know they brought in Carson Wentz, but I don't know why they did that. Probably because they're just tired of seeing Ripien on the field ever. But Matt Stafford should be back this week, and so should Puka. So he is a buy candidate for me.
Yeah, no, you're going to call me crazy for even bringing this guy up because he is currently the RB3. But if there was a chance you can maybe buy him low because he's coming off a 5-point performance, go do it. It's Travis Etienne. I know he's the RB3 right now, and I know you might think I'm an asshole for even bringing him up. But if you are in a league where it's your boys and you guys talk, they're out there, look at the schedule coming up. Not the most favorable schedule. And he's coming off a very bad week. But again, they got blown out. You ain't running the ball if you're getting blown out. You're not throwing up checkdowns to your running back. And if you look at it, if you look on like Yahoo's format, there's a lot of red on his schedule at the start of the season. And there's a lot toward the end. But he's the RB3 for a reason. He's been a huge part in this offense. We've seen, yes, there's been the talks that there's too many mouths to feed. But Etienne has really been one of, if not the only fully consistent week-to-week guy on this offense that is eating. The Jags are a team where they're not going to try and kill you over the top, all that crazy. They're not going to get too flashy. They're going to use their running back. They're going to throw him checkdowns. They're going to get him involved in the run game. Buy him low now. He's coming off a bad week. And if you want him, take my word for it. Throw out there that he's got a very hard schedule coming up. I don't know if people are going to buy that. Some of the guys I'm in, I think, would because they're dummies. But, yeah, go buy Etienne as the RB3. Solid playoff schedule. Got Carolina week 17, Tampa Bay the week before that. Solid playoff schedule. Go grab Travis Etienne.
My next guy I'm going to mention, I'm going to do a package again with this one. Just because they're kind of in similar situations. It's Bijan Robinson and Jonathan Taylor. Now, these two guys are high echelon players, and it's probably going to cost you a pretty decent penny to land these two. However, I think the risk and the price is going to be worth the reward on both of them. I think in Atlanta, they're starting to realize that Bijan Robinson is the guy that they drafted, and they need to start giving him the football. They are on a bye this week. And we saw last week they got him the football. He did good. They're on a bye this week. And I think after the bye week, it is going to be time for them to ultimately unleash him in the way that they drafted him. And I would be spending a pretty good penny to land a Bijan Robinson. And also for Jonathan Taylor. He's been doing pretty good. About 20 touches. 3 great weeks. A couple of mid weeks. On a bye this week, Zach Moss, I think he had 1 and 10 for 2 yards.
Yeah, he's done.
He's done. It's a bye week. He is going to cook the rest of the season. Colts are 5-5. So, I mean, they're pushing for the playoffs.
The AFC's very close. Everybody's kind of within distance.
Both of these teams are pushing for the playoffs, and
neither of them have a quarterback that's healthy
and neither of their running backs are seeing usage until
for some fucking reason.
The bye week.
Yep. Real quick, I'm gonna keep this one short and sweet. Rachaad White, go get him. The Bucs have been using him a lot. At the start of the season, he was a borderline sit every single week. After the bye week,
I feel like this is a little late.
he popped off. Might be a little late. Just throwing it out there. I'm trying to sell him right now just because I want to go be able to get one of the more upper echelon guys we've talked about, just because this is a high sell point for him. But go ahead and buy Rachaad White. And to wrap it up, do you have any?
I have one more.
Oh, gotcha, my fault. I thought miscounted.
I added extra things. T. Higgins.
Yes. I'm all in on this.
I don't know. I'm not all in.
I'm all in on this.
The fact that they're already reporting he's not going to play Thursday is it's a risk. And if you can afford to do it, go ahead and do it. He's not going to play for you for this week, probably next week. Even if he plays next week, I would not start. And this is primarily a playoff type situation. You got Minnesota week 15, Pittsburgh 16, Kansas City 17. That is what you are doing this for. If you can afford to do it, if your team is in the right situation to do it, if you have, a veteran receiver that you drafted late that's been carrying you like an Adam Thielen, and you feel confident that you can hold T. Higgins on your bench for a little while, I would do this. However, the risk is there. If you're a team needing to win now, do not bring T. Higgins into your squad. If you're a team that's 8-1, 7-2, or whatever it is right now, and you can afford to bring in T. Higgins, yeah, go ahead and send a shout out for him, because I don't think his price is going to be that high.
No. The last player who I'm going to touch on to buy, DJ Moore. I look at it like this: Justin Fields is coming back any day now. It should be any week. He should be back. And I look at it like this. I know he's been very, very bad since Tyson Bagent took over. I mean, kind of has to be expected. You throw a D2 quarterback out there, you're not expecting him to go crazy. He's still seeing the targets. So he saw 9 targets last week for 58 yards. But I look at it like this. When Justin Fields comes back, Justin Fields is playing for his job. Matt Eberflus is coaching for his job. And so is offensive coordinator Luke Getsy. The Bears are going to have to do something collectively if these guys want to keep their jobs, especially Justin Fields. Because the Bears, there's a good chance that they could have 2 top 3 picks, or they could have top 2. So if you're picking top 2, that tells me despite the injuries, you couldn't stretch out any more wins and Justin Fields is not the guy. And that seems to be kind of the way it goes in the NFL. So there's a good chance Chicago clears house after this season, unless Justin Fields and Matt Eberflus and Luke Getsy can get it together and scrape up some wins. Go ahead and buy DJ Moore. They bought him in for a reason. He's the receiver 8 right now, despite scoring less than 10 points in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of the 10 games so far. And he's still the receiver 8. Go buy DJ Moore low while you can before Jay Fields comes back.
Next up, jumping over to the sell side. First guy I'm going to mention is Kenneth Walker of the Seattle Seahawks. If you could put together some type of package that could send Kenneth Walker and some love, whatever, for a Bijan or Jonathan Taylor, I would highly recommend that you do that. You might even be able to flip Kenneth Walker for Jonathan Taylor himself. Yeah. Not saying it's extremely likely, but I would do anything in my power to get rid of Kenneth Walker if he was on my team. Couple reasons. One of those being he's not getting the snaps. Zach Charbonnet has outsnapped him the past 3 weeks. I know that he is better than Zach Charbonnet at this point in his career, and that's not saying anything at all, and Kenneth Walker is a great football player. However, we still have to look at the numbers and the fact that Charbonnet is on the field more, and that for fantasy sucks. Kenneth Walker schedule coming up: Rams, San Fran, Dallas, San Fran, Philly, Tennessee, Pittsburgh.
Yep.
I want none of that.
Nope.
You're telling me you're only going to get 48% of the snaps against the best run defenses in football? I want no parts of it. I would be trading Kenneth Walker. If you can, package him up for a Jonathan Taylor Bijan. It's possible.
It is. First player I'm going to tell you to sell, this is tough because this guy's the RB2. It's Raheem Mostert of the Miami Dolphins. Now, Divine Chain's practice window opened up today, Monday, November 13th. As we're recording this, his practice window opened up today. I know. Mostert's started out the season very hot, took kind of a dip, got hot for a game again, then he's just been average. I look at it like this though. A-Chain's coming back. I feel as though personally that when they were both healthy and when they were both on the field, A-Chain was getting more of the love. Now they were both eating, granted, but A-Chain was playing a lot more just because of the speed, and it's ridiculous how much speed they have on the field. And compared to what we saw when it was just Mostert and A-Chain, after A-Chain's been hurt, I feel like from the Dolphins football I've seen, I feel as though that Jeff Wilson and Salvin Ahmed have both been on the field quite a bit, if I do say so myself. And I know this doesn't mean much, but just something that kind of turned me off from it is the fact that they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 running backs on their 53-man roster. Now take that how you want, but the biggest thing is I know the schedule coming up is looking pretty nice. Vegas Jets, Washington, who's solid. Tennessee, who's very good. Jets, who are solid. But the playoff schedule, you got Dallas and Baltimore. 2 games with pretty bad game script where it's 2 very good defenses against the run and 2 games that could turn into a shootout very, very quick. The Dolphins like A-Chain more. They used him more. And him coming back from this window, it's almost like, especially for Dolphins fans, it's like they couldn't wait to get him back just because he brings a whole new dynamic to this offense. So I think that you should try and sell Raheem Mostert. I know you're going to look at the schedule and you see that he's got the Jets twice and the Raiders, but other than that, it's not all that. And the playoff schedule is very bad. Go try and sell a Raheem Mostert you could probably get a nice package with him being your RB2. Sell Raheem Mostert.
Or put him in a package for
Bijan.
Yeah. Good luck, but try it. Next guys I'm going to mention. There's 2, but they're on the same team, so unfortunately I have to pack them up together. Gus Edwards and Keaton Mitchell of the Baltimore Ravens. I loved Gus Edwards coming into this.
You did?
About 4 weeks ago, and then there was an emergence in Keaton Mitchell, and I don't believe in Keaton Mitchell to be their new RB1. However, we still have to respect what he's done when he has gotten the ball, and there's going to find him ways to get the ball. You find ways to get explosive playmakers the ball. It is what it is. It doesn't feel like Justice Hill is going to be wrote out of this system. It instead is just going to be a 3-horse race for this Ravens running back room. And I want no parts of a John Harbaugh-led Ravens running back room. 3 of them can't do it.
No.
If you can sell Gus Edwards for a decent penny, go ahead and do it. If you can sell Keaton Mitchell for more, go ahead and do it. You don't have Justice Hill, but it's just a 3-headed monster that I want no parts of. Gus Edwards played 52% of the snaps, which it's kind of what his normal rate was. Nothing crazy. Keaton Mitchell played 24. That'll probably go up to 30, 32. And Justice Hill played 26, so he'll probably stay there. So Gus Edwards will probably go down to 40-something% of snaps. And it's just going to be a nasty situation, I feel like. You're going to be relying on touchdowns from these guys, which they can do, but I don't know if you want to just solely rely on that.
Yeah, the next guy who I'm telling you to sell, Brian Robinson of the Washington Commanders. Now, I know yesterday, as we were recording this, he went crazy. 38 rushing yards and 120 receiving yards and a touchdown. But that is the biggest anomaly ever. There is only one other game this season where Brian Robinson only saw above 2 targets, and it was week 5 against Chicago in primetime where he had 4 targets. If you take away his receiving yards, it's 8 rushes for 38 yards. It's nothing special. Yes, it was such an anomaly. They used Antonio Gibson in the passing game for a reason. You're not going to get any more weeks, especially with the schedule coming up where Brian Robinson is the team's leading receiver with 120 yards. I mean, just look at the schedule coming up. They got the Giants, Dallas, Miami. Then they have a bye. Then after the bye, right, for fantasy playoffs, the Rams, who are top 10 against the run. The Jets, who are going to have Aaron Rodgers back and going to be healthy by that point. And week 17, they got the Niners.
The next 3 weeks are going to get waxed to the point that they don't even play a running back.
Exactly. Yeah, the Rams are getting healthier. They're playing for a division because I think they're playing for up there in the division with San Fran.
Playing for some.
The Jets, they're going to have Aaron Rodgers back at that point. He said
Probably not.
He said mid-December.
Ain't no way.
And San Fran, who's also playing for a division and going to be ready to go try and win the conference and get the bye for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Not a good schedule for Brian Robinson. I'm telling you, I promise you, yesterday was an anomaly. It was. And even in his best game of the season, he only had 2 targets. He scored 2 touchdowns against Denver, who's the worst run defense in the league, and that's why he had his other good week. And this week, he had 120 receiving yards, which he will not do for the rest of the season. Go sell high on Brian Robinson.
I'm out.
Done. All right, 2 more real quick. I'm only saying this guy because I'm in the Dynasty League and I have him and I got a trade offer for him earlier, which I probably should go accept. Noah Brown. If you have this guy in a Dynasty League, I'm just going to say it because I do, and you're not ready to win now, fucking trade him. Go try and get a 3rd-round pick for him, 2nd-round pick for him. Then the last guy, I'll keep it short and sweet. Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper's been so hit or miss this year. And with the schedule coming up, I don't know if you can trust him and Watson to really stay consistent because Deshaun Watson has been anything but consistent. I mean, you look at a schedule coming up. I know they play Pittsburgh this week. Okay, I'll give them that. But after that, Denver, Rams, Jacksonville, Chicago, Houston, and the Jets.
It's pretty.
Last 2 weeks,
easy.
Houston, who's top 3 against receivers. Then the Jets, who are the best defense against receivers. That ain't winning you your fantasy championship. I'm sorry.
And his bi-weekly 2 points is going to get you 2.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you look at the schedule, 6, 16, 24, 2, bye. 14, 4, 14, 24, 15. Sell him while he's high. Sell him while he's hot. Deshaun Watson's not going to stay consistent all year, especially against these really good defenses. Go sell Amari Cooper. Also, I don't know if you had any, but I had a couple guys just to throw out there. Just drop. Drop Damian Pierce.
Yeah.
Drop Damian Pierce. Drop Christian Watson. Those are really the only 2 that come to mind.
Yeah. I don't think we told you to draft either of them, so I'll take that as a win here.
I might have told you to draft Damian. I definitely told you to draft Damian Pierce, so I'm sorry. But I definitely didn't tell you to draft Christian Watson. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
See you.
Peace.